Hey guys, I was just browsing YouTube the other day and found yet another Eric Dubay video. There's just no end to them. Today's video will be a bit on the shorter side because we're going to quickly debunk this video, then we can go back to talking about topics that actually matter. I got a few good ones lined up for the upcoming weeks. I won't be taking any days off YouTube for the holidays because it's not like I'm going to be traveling anyway. Might as well pull my hair out responding to nonsense on the internet. What has my life become? Anyway, here's a video of Eric Dubay responding to someone talking about the flat earth. It seems he's developed a pattern where he speeds up his videos for whatever reason. I don't think it's very necessary, but whatever. Honestly, if you're going to speed up anything, you should speed up your own voice.
I, as many people in science communication, am fascinated with flat earthers.
The way she speaks makes me feel like she wants to put him in a jar and study him. Like, what fascinating creatures? How could a human being have such low IQ?
Here you have a group of people steadfastly rejecting evidence that's right in their face.
Flat earthers are neither stupid nor anti-scientific.
There are way too many people I respond to on this channel that claim they are not anti-scientific. Bitch, please. Science is literally against what you're claiming. That's the definition of anti-scientific. These people try to twist the scenario. On one hand, they reject science, then on the other, they think it sounds bad to be labeled as anti-scientific, so they reject that title too. You can't have both.
And the only thing we are steadfastly objecting is a fantasy spinning ball earth and the endless straw man arguments and non-empirical claims made by its proponents.
In the eyes of a flat earther, it can indeed be very easy to reject actual hard evidence and cherry-pick fabricated ones. Like, the evidence that flat earthers bring up will always fall under one of two categories. Either one, they're just outright fabricated, or two, it's a rare exception that is caused under certain conditions, and instead of accepting that, they would rather use it over the hundreds of other evidence against them and twist it in a way to prove they're flat earth. For example, mirages and light refraction over the surfaces of oceans. You can show them thousands of examples of a boat dipping below the horizon, but as soon as one example of light refraction appears where you can still see the ship comes up, they cling onto it like it's their Bible. I just realized that the way flat earthers deal with the boat example is contradictory to how they deal with the sun setting below the horizon. Very strange.
But first I have to tell you what flat earthers actually believe and how they got there.
You have absolutely no idea what flat earthers believe, as you are about to demonstrate, but just your use of the word believe is already wrong. The earth is demonstrably, empirically, a level, motionless plane.
No, it's what you believe, thank you very much.
The natural physics of water objectively proves this.
See, once again, you're not properly representing reality. Water doesn't just level off, it is attracted by gravity and conforms to whatever shape gravity wants it to. That means, since gravity pulls everything to the center of the earth, water will wrap around it. The only reason we talk about the water level is because we ourselves are incredibly tiny and we can't zoom out enough to really see it. Out of all the arguments flat earthers present, this is probably one of the dumbest ones.
And everyone who has ever lived has experienced themselves existing upright on a motionless level plane.
Just because you feel like that doesn't mean it actually is. That's why we need science and scientific methods to tell us exactly what reality is. Just because you don't see viruses and bacteria, for example, doesn't mean they don't exist. It's simple. Your senses are reliable to a certain degree, but you can't use it alone to learn the truth for everything.
For the members of your heliocentric cult, however, belief is most certainly required, as there is no demonstrable empirical evidence proving Earth to be a tilting, wobbling, spinning oblate pear hurtling around the sun.
Your brains are just too simple. You can't possibly fathom something that is beyond your basic experience of the world. It's like a fish not believing that land exists and that other types of animals other than sea creatures exist. You're kind of like that, where your understanding of the world comes from such basic thought processes. That's sort of what we see when we look at flat earthers.
The most popular flat earth model is that of a disk where the North Pole is in the middle and the South Pole is an ice wall on the edge of the disk. They mostly agree, though, that gravity does not exist and that the observations we normally attribute to gravity come instead from the upward acceleration of the flat earth.
The statement that flat earthers mostly agree the effects of gravity are caused by an upward accelerating flat earth disk is the most blatantly dishonest thing said in this presentation. No flat earther in history ever believed or even presented this ridiculous theory until it was included on the farcical, satirical, controlled opposition Flat Earth Society website, Frequently Asked Questions, in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't like it when people claim that flat earthers believe in the pizza accelerating upwards. I feel like this idea was popularized by Vsauce when he made a video on flat earth, but it didn't really do anyone justice. I haven't seen a single flat earther believe that, so it just gives them ammo to say you don't understand their position. Honestly, if they did believe in the upwards acceleration of the earth, it would probably be more credible than what they believe now. I mean, you'd essentially be giving flat earthers credit that they would somehow know that gravity is an acceleration, because otherwise they would just claim the earth is moving upwards rather than accelerating upwards. So they would actually be more credible claiming that instead of the stupid density argument they most often spew. Plus, they would have demonstrated more understanding of science. It's a shame. We gave them this incredible opportunity to show us they at least understand what gravity is, but they reject it nonetheless. Very ironic, isn't it? Anyway, the actual thing they believe in is density, as Eric is about to explain.
The actual explanation for the effects of so-called gravity are as follows. Quite simply, objects fall or rise based on their relative density to the medium surrounding them. Apples fall because they are denser than the air, while helium balloons rise because they are lighter. No gravity necessary.
Okay, first of all, you're alternating between the terms dense and light in that one sentence. Surely you know that they are not the same thing. Well, whatever. Okay, so yes, denser objects are going to fall. Less dense objects tend to rise. However, there's one crucial flaw to this argument, and that is direction. Why do more dense objects fall downwards and not travel in any other direction? Sure, if you were given two objects, you could tell which one was more dense, but why downwards? Why not up or to the side? Why down? See, gravity makes a lot of sense because it pulls things towards the center of massive objects, which in this case is the Earth. But your theory does not specify direction. In addition to that, whenever an object moves, there has to be a force involved, which means whatever is pulling your denser object downwards is a force. What is that force? You give us such vague explanations but do not answer the dozens of questions that follow afterwards. And the thing is, there is no answer. You people can't think outside of your tiny bubble to answer the most basic questions that trail your explanations. This is partly what I mean when I say your thinking is so basic and so underwhelming. Alright, we're gonna skip a bit of the video for now because he's just giving examples and we've already debunked them anyway.
Well, that's not the only problem. You also have to get the moon and the sun to somehow circle around over the disk to explain day and night and the phases of the moon. To get the day-night cycle to be noticeable, you have to shrink the sun and move it closer to the Earth.
Since it seems you need a history lesson, be assured it was the heliocentric spinning globe theory which repeatedly changed the size and distance of the sun to fit their model, not the other way around.
You can't even give us a good measurement of the size and distance of the sun. How dare you claim we keep changing it when we have it calculated with an approximate error of less than 1%? Where is your measurement of the sun's size and distance? I see flat earthers all the time trying to measure it and they keep coming up with approximations. Never exact numbers, and different flat earthers come up with different numbers. How about you gather your finest flat earth scientists and give us an exact measurement already?
For instance, in his time, Copernicus calculated the sun's distance from Earth to be 3,391,200 miles. The next century, Johannes Kepler decided it was actually 12,376,800 miles away. Benjamin Martin calculated between 81 and 82 million miles. Thomas Dilworth claimed 93,726,900 miles.
I'm not going to fact check those numbers, I'm fairly certain they were made up somewhere. But even if what you said is true, it wouldn't do anything to help your position, because guess what? Measuring instruments and calculations improve over time. Oh, I know, right? The scientific method gets better over time? Outrageous! Now, we have it at 147.18 million kilometers, and this measurement is quite accurate and won't be changing for a while. Meanwhile, I would love to hear you flat earthers give us some accurate measurements of the sun's distance.
Measuring with sextants and calculating with plane trigonometry, both the sun and moon figure to be only about 32 miles in diameter and approximately 3,000 miles away.
What is this approximation? We want exact numbers. Oh, and while you're calculating that, please duke it out with your other flat earth friends about who is correct on the distance.
Anyone can see and empirically measure for themselves that the sun and moon are nearly the same size.
Yeah, it's sort of a coincidence how that is. The ratio of size and distance between them are about the same, so they appear similar in size according to our eyes. Nothing special.
Anyone can also see and measure for themselves that the sun and moon are nearly the same distance away from Earth. But heliocentrists claim the sun is 400 times further away than the moon.
How the hell can you tell what the distance of the sun and moon are just by looking at it? You can't. They're both too far away that you can't determine with your two eyes which is closer and which is further, even if they are 3,000 miles away. which by the way is well above the 100 kilometers we commonly use as the boundary of space. Plus, the sun also shines brightly so that you can't accurately see its shape without some sort of vision enhancement, much less get a feel for its distance. This is such a pathetic argument. Anyway, I will be ending the video right here. The next part of the video talks a lot about the history of flat earth, and honestly, does anyone really care where it came from? Special thanks to Fireshard, Alan Morton, and JN for supporting this channel on Patreon. I have an interesting video about the current pandemic in next week's video. I hope. Okay, bye.